Okay, dear viewers, I want to thank you for always get linked on to our platform. And this time round, we have a man of God, a prominent man who have served the church for over 40 years.
52.
52 now, 52 years. And is none other than Professor Leuben Mogera. We are here for an interview of pertinent things that we need to know from the professor himself. And I want to welcome him.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. So, Professor, we want to, you can briefly talk about yourself. Tell us about yourself in a brief way so that we can get to know who is Professor Leuben Mogera.
Well, I have been a pastor for 52 years. I started pastoring in 73. And so God has been so good to me. He has been blessing us and with my family so much. But I began pastoring not knowing how far I'll go in the profession. But God has opened so many doors, in the profession, and I have come to know Him better.
Amen.
Every day by His providence. So precisely, I think you were not asking for biographical data, but you are more interested, I think, in my profession. But I was born in 1950, and I have attended all SDA institutions for all my life, and even universities, by the way. All these three universities I attended, they were all SDA universities, emphasizing theology and history, because history has a tool of investigating facts, especially ancient facts. And to acquire some of those tools, I was more interested to apply them to the Bible as well, because the Holy Book was not written yesterday. It is actually has a lot of history in that book. Some people actually say it is all history, but I'll be so careful not to go that far. But there's a lot of history. That's why I was attracted into history department, and I had two majors, one in theology and one in history. And I continued with my two majors up to graduate school. And I have found that the combination of the two, they are really very helpful in interpreting the Bible and understanding the background of the Bible, of any portion of the Bible, and how precisely we should know the recipients of that very time. How do they understand some of those traditions written in the Bible, which is so helpful to us that we don't commit a case of anachronism. Anachronism simply means to update the present event into the past, so that we fully understand Bible as those people understood it
That time.
at that very time. It is very important.
Okay.
Though we are allowed to use dual application, or in theology we call it apotelesmatic principle. Looking back and say, okay, if this is the way the recipients of the Holy Writ at that very time, understood to say and to mean. Has human experience and situation changed? The answer will say no. It has remained the same.
Okay.
Can those elements still be relevant to us today? Yes, they are still very relevant, though the epistles were written to Corinthians, not to us, but the problems which were there can still be understood, that can also be our problems. And so I am thankful that my education has taught me to really understand that Holy Bible, and also understand the relationship of people which are there in that Holy Bible, and how we can relate to each other, even in nowadays.
Okay. Thank you,
You are welcome.
Professor. So I see your gospel is so inclined in the theme of righteousness of faith. What is righteousness of faith? How can you define it to us?
You know, the definitions are very deceiving. Because no matter what you try to define in a few sentences, one or two, you cannot boast that you have exhausted it. That's why I resort to explaining other than defining, because the definition could be academic sometimes, but explaining can be real and factual of our everyday existence. Since I joined righteousness by faith, and it is in my area which I enjoy to know and to learn and to present. And when you look at the Holy Writ, it will show you quickly that it rotates around two things: the righteousness of God and then faith from His creatures. You see, those two elements we have to be very sensitive to them and make sure that we combine both of them. Now, the righteousness of God, it is pure His. There are so many righteousnesses. You see, you can have the righteousness of the law, you can have the righteousness of men, you can name them anything. But it has to be righteousness of God, you see. And since it is His possession and it is His nature, He is the only one who has to give it out. It can't be earned, it can't be mimicked, it can't be fabricated in any way by an angel, by Gabriel, or by humans. It has to be God, because it is His. He is the one to dish it out. Now, they dishing it out to who? To His creatures. And the creatures have been given a power of choice, of saying yes or no. And so, to those who say no to His righteousness, of course, can't live in harmony with themselves, because it is the power of righteousness of God which brings in that harmony. And you have to accept it by faith. You see, from day one, that's the way it is. So, righteousness by faith, at a very quick definition, is that it is to accept the righteousness of God as it is, you see, without changing a few things here and there. No, you just accept it as it is. You see, it is acceptance from the part of the creature,
Mm.
the righteousness of God, for its safety and for its harmony in living in the universe.
Okay. Thank you, Professor. Then we have these two elements. We have religion, and again we have Christianity. I want you to throw some light, because many of the people claim to have been practicing Christianity, but when, in other words, in actual sense, they are practicing religion. Now, I want you to differentiate and throw more light on how religion can be differentiated from Christianity.
I have always said, though,
Mm.
in strongest terms, though, that religion is a sign of a problem. You see?
The sign of a problem.
Yes. You can't go to heaven and ask people which religion are you.
That's true.
Of course. And you can't go to any planet which didn't sin and you talk about religion. They will never understand anything. And there I could even ask you to say very clearly that Jesus was religionless, but that has to be proven by other presentations, which I will do.
Okay.
Jesus did not claim to have a religious affiliation with the present religion before. That's why he says, "Come unto me, you people who are religious, without overburden, you are under the burden of religion, and how to give you rest, because my burden of in that area is very easy." And so religion came. I always say, Adam, when he lost his faith, then he became religious. You see, because when God withdraws his righteousness, then there automatically compensatory mechanisms came in. And religion is nothing but a compensatory mechanism. You try to say, okay, if God wants me to live good, let me emphasize good living, thinking that you will compensate and substitute for the righteousness of God, which you lack of faith. And so you lambast people with ethical living. Do this, okay? Don't steal, don't do. And then after all of that ethical, then you are contented that you are accepted into the family of God. But all of that has nothing to do with God's righteousness, because it cannot be manufactured by any act of man. It has to be the act of God. And so religion, that's why it can't save anybody. You see, because it is primarily the act of man. You see, yes, to turn people into angels, into saints, and then so on and so forth. And by so attempting, they go further and further away from the righteousness of God. And so, if you allow me to use a bit of theology here very, very quickly.
It is okay.
We have the gospel has two phases: the indicative and imperative. Indicative, it simply means what God has done for you and his righteousness.
That is indicative.
Okay. And it is God's act. No helper. You cannot initiate it. It only comes at his own choice. That's why it says, and his own will and his own choice of time. That's why you say at the fullness of time. In the beginning, God did this. That is his prerogative. No creature initiates it. No creature commands it to activate it. You see, whatever righteousness you activate on your own as a creature don't belong to the righteousness of God. It is your own righteousness. And it is the righteousness of the law. But the righteousness of God, it is purely God's fiat. And it is his responsibility. And when you accept it by faith, you see, then harmony comes in. Now, religion has the imperative part. Don't. You know, all of those compensatory mechanisms, you know, of changing people to be good, you know. Don't. Now, those compensatory mechanisms, they are not bad, but they can't take any body or influence the indicative. It is only God who influences the indicative. The shortcoming of religion, all of them, by the way, I have read they are holy books. Many of them say almost the same thing. Don't steal. Don't commit adultery. Do this, you see. Don't. Religions don't go beyond imperative. You see, and that's why all our sermons we hear and we sit there, being la bastard. It is only imperatives. You see, you people, if you walk well, do like this. Don't do this, don't do that. And so religions don't go beyond imperatives. They are all imperatives. Now, you talked of Christianity. Christianity, I argue, it is not a religious movement. It is just a movement inaugurated by God. You see, at his own time, the act, always, it is his fiat. Why can't it be rated as a religious movement? Because it is more inflationary with the indicative part than imperative. And imperatives come from indicative in Christianity. But in other religions, imperatives stand alone. And if you perform what imperatives say, they tell you you are okay. You see, you are doing well. Christianity says no. Even if you perform well religiously, and you are blameless like Apostle Paul in imperatives. But when you come in indicatives, you become a chief of sinners. You see, can't you see Paul? Paul here in his religious belief, he was okay. Blameless, and he was correct. But when he knew Jesus Christ, and he understood the indicative of God and its aim of coming, he says, then I am a chief of sinners.
Thank you, Professor. Maybe when you are coming to the closure of this session, you said you have served the SDA Church for 52 years. Can you tell us what are the difficult moments you can remember yourself that you encountered during your service in the church?
The whole service was difficult. It is only a moment. Knowing that under human leadership, you okay to ask for a moment. But the whole service was very hard indeed. Because when a movement becomes religious and you preach against the religious movement, chances are that you'll be looked at by those who think who have not taken time to think of what you are saying, that you are either heretical or you are out of step. They must get rid of you if they have to go to heaven. They equate heaven with the imperative, with the imperatives which they have drunk up to the brim, and so on and so forth. Now, since I began to work with the righteousness purpose immediately, when I began preaching, I have encountered a lot of resistance, from the church itself and in employers and all of that. But I have kept on going. I did not give up because they totally failed to show me where I am really wrong. You see, yes, they can complain and they can quote a verse, and their single verse I can quote 20, which actually supports the indicative part. And so in service, I came to know one thing, that once you begin talking things which people are not prepared to hear or prepared to assimilate or change psychologically, you run into a problem. One of the problems Jesus found is because his message was different from what the imperatives of Judaism they were saying. See, here is a man who may look poor as a human being, and he claims that I come from heaven. Of course, coming from heaven. Instead of investigating it with him, say, but why are you teaching that you are coming from heaven? Help us to know more. Something like animosity comes out. You see, how come that this can happen? Jesus came eating with the sinners. He loved the sinners. He knew very well that sin is not an act. It is what we are. And since sin is what we are, even if I bury myself into imperatives so much, imperatives cannot wash me to change from a sinner to a person. A sinless. It is that is the better term. You see, pure, yes, you can become pure if you want, but are you sinless? You see, and so you can't change from sinful nature by imperatives to sinless. You see, nature. By act, you may say, "Can't you see? I have overcome this one and then that one." But that does not make you with it that you are carrying a sinless nature. And so Christianity's aim is to fight the sinful nature which is the state of sin. And then you'll be given a sinless nature. You see, whereby you can say, I'm sorry, or I have slipped and fallen, or it was a mistake. Such a confessions are not there in the planets which didn't acquire sin, I mean the state of sin. Yes. In heaven, there is no such a vocabulary. I'm sorry, sir. Forgive me. Nah. It is because their culture is sinless nature. And so Christianity parts company from a religion or on that issue, because Christianity talks of sinless nature, not sinless living. You see, please, you get those two very well. Religion talks of sinless living. Don't commit adultery. Do this. Help your friend. And then you have sinless living. But Christianity does not talk of sinless living. It talks about sinlessness.
Okay.
You see, because the moment you acquire sinlessness, automatically for sinless living is automatic.
Amen. So it's been a pleasure having Professor Ruben Timugera, and we shall be having such, interactions with them. And I know in the end, God will bless us.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
God bless you.
God bless you too.
Thank you.
Thank you too.